really fall in earnest now. So, see, we got the flannel, we got the beanie. It's really, the police are here. I don't know if you can hear them outside. But since it's such a cool evening, I thought it would be cool to go through my vinyl collection with you. So I've got that stacked up over here, and I do have a couple of complete or nearly complete discographies. But I also do have some fun one-offs that I think you'll enjoy. So let's go ahead and get into it. Just jump right into it, boys. I don't know why. Why does everybody just default to that? It's very funny. Anyway, so first and foremost, one of my favorite artists, Miss Taylor Allison Swift, and her debut album, self-titled. Unfortunately, it is not an original press, so it does have the updated lyrical choices. But as you can see, I do love that they did keep the MySpace. I feel like that's a really nice, original touch. And then on the inside, and this is what I love about vinyl, is you get these beautiful folds, right? These beautiful opens. So in this case, they didn't do any inserts, and these are just standard black vinyls. But you have all of your lyrics printed here throughout. A couple of pictures of Taylor from when she was a youngin. And you got your little heart in there. This is a pretty good album. I like this album. Obviously, of course, I think like most people, it's my first introduction to Taylor Swift. So, on side A, we had first track of this album was Tim McGraw. Believe it or not, bold choice. If you really consider, and we're getting into the musical parts of it. If you really consider what a good opening track is. It's not Tim McGraw. I think it's way too slow. It's kind of sad, but to be fair, right, she turns it immediately around with Picture to Burn, right? And then to finish up side A, you have Teardrops on my guitar. Sorry, that's not the last actually in this cut. The last is A Place in This World. So side A, you have two songs that not super my favorite. Picture to Burn, of course, an absolute classic. When you want to slash your boyfriend's tires or whatever, or girlfriend, I won't judge. And then of course, Teardrops on My Guitar. I appreciate on this vinyl they did include both versions. So you have the radio single version on side A, and then if you go all the way to side D, so the second side of the second vinyl, you'll have the Teardrops on My Guitar pop version. For this album, side B, Cold as You, The Outside, and Tied Together with a Smile, tragically skippable. I think really you could just do without that entirely. Side C, now here we go. So we got Stay Beautiful, no good. I should have said no. So it was funny when I went back and I ordered this. I could have sworn that Should Have Said No was not on self-titled. I thought it was on Fearless. So it was kind of funny when I got this over the summer and I was like, oh wow, that song's a bit older than I thought. Okay, still on side C, we have Mary Song, Oh My, Absolute Bop. Love that song, my senior sophomore year of high school. And then our song, of course, is a Slam and Screen Door. It's a Slam and Screen Door. sneaking out late. And then side D. So this is another one that I thought was on Fearless, and I guess like, you know, you start pushing 30 and your memory starts to fail you, but I'm only me when I'm with you, right? Again, just an absolute banger. Absolute, you know, oh man, just, you know, jumping around the back of the Jeep, whatever. That's my memory of the song. So, track 13, Invisible. Track 14, A Perfectly Good Heart. What an absolute gut-wrencher to finish off the standard version of the album. And then, of course, like I said, the teardrops on my guitar. So, all in all, nice album. A good introduction to Taylor Swift. Very country. So, moving right along to her next. So, this is the Fearless Taylor's version. I kind of figured, you know, as I was building out this collection, you know, there's not a whole lot. I mean, I guess, you know, there is something to be said for the original pressings, but I wasn't torn up about it, and I didn't have it, and I figured, you know, I might as well get the deluxe and expanded. So this is the 3 LP version. So you can see on the back here, we've got the new album artwork, right? And this has 27 tracks. And so this one, if we open it up, right? So this is really interesting on the inside, just because of the way it's a trifold. So you open it up, you have these great images, really, really nice pictures. And then this album, I'll just sneak out one of them here, is the special edition golden vinyl. So grab one of these. Just real gently, right? So you can see you have this nice, I don't know that I would rate it as gold necessarily, but I do like it. It's a really cool color. And just a touch of translucent as well. There properly. So what's so fun about vinyl, first of all, is, you know, depending on how the next couple of months go. No, I'm kidding. But it is nice to just, you know, have a physical copy of music. And I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to tell me all the time, he was like, oh, you know, streaming, it's no good, like, you don't own anything. And I didn't really get that, I think, until like now. And I'm like, oh, but it is nice to have it. You know, I can just listen to it if the internet's down, or, you know, I miss my Apple Music subscription or whatever, I can still listen to this. So anyway, track list on this. Fearless, excellent. 15, Heartbreaker. Love Story. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here comes a key change. I tell you what, the first time. Oh man, just cracked me up thinking about it. The first time I ever heard this, I remember thinking, I was like, oh wow. Oh, there's something weird going on there. Hold on. Right. Anyway, it's weird. So I have Audition is set up over there, right? Because that's where I record my audio into, and it's very strange. So I do use wireless mics, which is like not functionally excellent by any means, but it is interesting because pretty much completely randomly, there will be these just slowly increasing frequencies on the spectrometer, and it doesn't really like make any sense. Like I don't know where it's coming from, and it just started randomly. You know, I can see it, but anyway, where was I? Oh, so tracks on Fearless. We have Love Story, absolute classic. I remember the first time I heard that song. It was in the back. We were coming back from a Jesus camp thing, and it was on the radio. And you know, you're in the bridge, and And I remember at the end of the bridge, I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4, here comes a key change. And wouldn't you know it, there's the key change. So, Marry Me Juliet. Track 4, Hey Stephen. Harassed a lot of people named Stephen with that one. Track 5, White Horse. Track 6, Go Home With Me. Oh, the video with the cheerleader and the clarinetist. I played clarinet in high school, so it's very funny for me. Breathe, featuring Colby Calais, who of course was big at the time. I think, when did Fearless come out? 2008? 9? I don't know, the re-release of course is 2021. Tell Me Why, You're Not Sorry, The Way I Loved You. I always thought that was like the most skippable. Sorry, on this album it was the most skippable song by far. Forever and Always though. Oh, that was good. The Best Day, meh, had better days. Change, which was of course the last track on the disc. But of course, this is expanded and more Taylor. So you have a whole nother set. So you have Jumps and Fall, which came on the Platinum Edition. Untouchable, Forever and Always, the piano version. Tear My Heartstrings Out. Who's Out and About? Joe Jonas, I remember. Coming with the Rain. Superstar. The Other Side of the Door. Open the door. Get on the floor. You All Over Me. That's a new one from the vault. So, Maren Morris. Mr. Perfectly Fine. I've enjoyed some radio airplay. Even just this past summer. That's When, featuring Keith Urban. Nah. Don't You, and then Bye Bye Baby, with the bonus track of Love Story, Taylor's version, Elvira remix. So that's Fearless, Taylor's version. Alright, moving ahead. So I actually have two versions of Red because I have the original. What year is this? Yeah, okay. So I have the original 2012 version. So that was State of Grace, Red, Treacherous, I Knew You Were Trouble. Do you remember the Goat remix? That was so funny to me. All the time. All Too Well. I'm gonna cry thinking about it. 22, classic I Turned. 22 in college, not in the year 2012, but I did turn 22 after the song came out, so a classic. I Almost Do, We're Never Getting Back Together. Oh, the music video with the squirrels, and that was funny. Stay, 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 The Last Time, featuring Gary Lightbody of Snow Patrol, which is funny because that is also the last time I had heard the name Snow Patrol. We had Holy Ground. All right, that was a good one. Sad, Beautiful, Tragic. The Lucky One. Everything Has Changed, featuring Ed Sheeran. Starlight. And Begin Again. And I Have a Dog. Hello. How are you? Doggy ASMR. Hi. Most precious. Yeah. I think I might have to pause. Here she is in all of her glory. And on this one, again, no insert. So, also Red Taylor's version, right? So this just came out. And this one on the inside, she went just for the lyrics to the 10-minute version of All Too Well. Just tears. So good. And this one is special. Now, I'll tell you, I haven't actually listened to this one yet because my turntable's been giving me a little bit of trouble. But this one, so your individual lyrics are printed sleeve. And then this is the Target exclusive. I physically went to a Target. So you have this really, really nice red. Now for what it's worth, I think most of the Target specials are red because it's red for Target. But I thought it was really appropriate. So this is the 4 LP version. So it has 4 discs, obviously. So picking up where we left off on the original track list, we also have The Moment I Knew, Come Back, Be Here, and Girl at Home, The State of Grace acoustic version, Better Man, shouldn't we all? Nothing New, featuring Phoebe Bridgers, recently spotted with Matty Healy of the 1975. Perhaps some foreshadowing. Babe, Message in a Bottle. Now this one for sure has been on Sirius, which is it's a good one. I bet you think about me. I bet you do. Not. Forever Winter, which is what I'm about to experience. Run, featuring Ed Sheeran. The Very First Night. And then, of course, All Too Well, Taylor's version. 10 minutes of sadness. And Jake Gyllenhaal really did her dirty. Okay, anyway. Now, next up, of course, we're going chronologically. You may have noticed, actually, that I do not have Speak Now, because it is inexplicably far more expensive. You know, most of these, I mean, the most I paid for one of these Taylor Swift vinyls was $50, and I think it was for the 4 LP. But Speak Now on Amazon or eBay or whatever, you're not getting out for less than 70 or 80 bucks. So I'm thinking maybe she'll do a Taylor's version. I would assume she will. Anyway, regardless, this is what I consider to be the quintessential Taylor Swift album, 1989. And the reason for that is simply because it is one of the few albums, I would say, it's unskippable. There's no track that's bad. Welcome to New York. Oh, yeah. Blank Space. Style is like my number one favorite Taylor Swift song. Mostly because it kind of sounds like the guitarist, kind of like Superstition. You know, you got like Superstition, like, goofy. All you had to do was stay. Shake It Off. Now, I will admit, when Shake It Off came out as a single, I was worried. But I think it, again, favorite. I Wish You Would. Bad Blood. Oh, and when they did the remix with Kendrick Lamar, oh my gosh. Wildest Dreams. How You Get the Girl. This Love. I Know. Okay, I'll say no. I Know Places. And maybe like the one that I would skip. But even then, I wouldn't skip it. And of course, Clean. The very last track. And once again, we went for no insert, but just really cool. Stylistically, fairly interesting choices here. With like the little Polaroids. I just think it's a lot of fun. Definitely one of my top 3 albums since I've been alive. So, of course, after 1989, Taylor took a little bit of a break, and she brought us back with a Reputation. Certainly a transitional album, to say the least. I don't know what that notification was. My old eyes. Anyway, right, so Jack Antonoff enters the picture officially, I think, for Reputation. And so this, interestingly, right, picture disc version. So on the in centerfold, it's just two pictures of Taylor looking very Taylor, the ramen hair era, I think. Is what they call this. So anyway, so for this one, sort of inserts in the sense that the lyrics are printed on the inserts. So, and then of course I'll give you the money shot. So these are picture discs. So you have a picture on your disc, essentially. Really fun. You know, I was dubious. This is the first picture disc album I had ever purchased, and I wasn't sure how the quality would be. But I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. So get in there. There we go. Reputation, of course. Ready for it. Endgame with Ed Sheeran and Future. I did something bad. Haven't we all? Don't Blame Me. Delicate. I think Delicate's one of my favorites on this album. The lead single, Look What You Made Me Do. Again, much like Shake It Off List in 1989, I heard Look What You Made Me Do. And I thought, look what you made me not want to buy. But pleasantly surprised. So It Goes. Gorgeous. Getaway Car. King of My Heart. Body and Soul. Dancing with Our Hands Tied. That's another one I really like. Oh, that's it. Dress. Totally forgettable. This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. Call It What You Want on New Year's Day. And absolutely tremendous side B to this album. Really good. Really good. So there's Reputation. After Reputation, we move on to Lover. A complete departure from Reputation. But again, a great album. Love this back. Love the colors. Just really pastel and fun. And of course, you know, it's an album about love, right? So it makes sense. For this one, on the middle, again, we have this is a great image. Just again, right, really embodies the frivolity of the album, I guess you could say. And then this is also, now this, I don't know if this is a Target special. Come on. But this one is a colored vinyl. So just like Reputation in this case, right? We have our lyrics are printed here on the insert itself, and then the disc. So we have a fun, again, right? This beautiful pink for this one, and the other disc, which I will show, just because I think it's one of my favorite, color palettes. Let's say, never get married. That's probably it. How generic. But I think this is just a really fun color. This translucent blue. So, anyway, there's that. Now, so Lover. Tracks. I forgot that you existed. Cool Summer. Should have been a single. I think it's DeWalt definitely is my favorite. Is it my favorite track on this album? Yeah, I would say between Cruel Summer and Cornelia Street. So Cruel Summer, Lover, The Man, The Archer. I think he knows. Miss Americana and The Heartbreak Prince, also strong contender. Paper Rings, Cornelia Street, Death by a Thousand Cuts, London Boy, Soon You'll Get Better, featuring the Dixie Chicks. Did they change their name? I feel like they might have. False God, You Need to Calm Down, of course, one of the singles. Afterglow, Me, another single. It's Nice to Have a Friend, and Daylight. Jack Antonoff again in the mix. This was in 2019, which was only 3 years ago. Really different time, wasn't it? Okay. There. Next. Now, to outdo herself, of course, we have to come back, change directions again musically, and go for Folklore. Which to me, I mean, I remember tweeting about it. It was kind of, it was not the album that I think I wanted from Taylor Swift, but it was the album that, oh, hello, why don't you stay up there? I don't think it was the album that, like, I wanted, but it really made sense for the moment. Right, released in August after the pandemic, had been going on for a couple months. It's, you know, a sad, slow, pensive album. So anyway, there's your front, of course your back. And this one, we also went for just an imagery in the middle, right, and kind of this, you know, almost this Jackie Kennedy vibe. I know that that's like intertwined, I think, into the folklore, quite frankly, of this album. But I'm not really good at the lore. I'll be honest with you, I'm more interested in like the musical aspects and, you know, lyrically. But I know that's in there, and somebody will be mad at me in the comments. This one I want to say is beige. Also, right, again, lyrics are on the insert. They're not printed in the middle. A couple of images of Taylor there. And this is, yes, in fact, so this is the beige version. It is not translucent. So just solid beige. Get off there. Again, right, like, it's not one of my favorites, but it was definitely right for the moment. And I still, you know, I hear any of these tracks. The One, Cardigan, The Last Great American Dynasty, Exile, My Tears Ricochet, Mirror Ball, 7, August, This Is Me Trying, Illicit Affairs, Invisible String, Mad Woman, Epiphany, Betty P's Hoax, and The Lakes. You know, again, I hear any of these tracks, I'm right back into August of 2020. And then, of course, very quickly thereafter, we'll go for Evermore with this. I think, I'm not going to say it's insanely famous, but certainly this popular cardigan. Is it a cardigan? Is it a jacket? I don't know. So again, right, we do kind of just the pensive inserts. I'll be honest with you, I think, put that in my mouth. I've only listened to this, I think, one time through. Which is too bad. But I think it wasn't right for me emotionally. I mean, this only came out in 2021. Now 2020. Yeah, okay, so they were in the same year, so yeah. And this one I think is a green disc. Yes, it is. So really, again, really fun. I think I was reading on today online, actually, there's like a lot of discussion about whether or not like colored vinyl is better or worse. But I mean, I think you purchase vinyl really for, again, I'm gonna get flamed in the comments, but I really do think you're purchasing vinyl for more of a collector's value. You know, I mean, yeah, you can listen to it, like I said earlier. You know, it's a good part of it, but you're not buying vinyl for the sound quality, right? Like objectively, the sound quality is better in Apple Music or in Tidal or Google Play, even on YouTube. You know, but you're buying vinyl for the collectivity of it, the fun, right? The offline, the physical parts. So I think it's kind of funny when people start getting bent out of shape about color vinyl versus regular black vinyl. Who cares? Get the one you like. And yeah, I would say 99% of the fun of vinyl is looking at it. You know? But anyway, I digress. Move on to my next collection. My favorite band. The 1975. So here is their self-titled from 1975. Which I always think is funny. I mean, obviously there were, if you're into the 1975 or draft like I do, you know, obviously there were EPs and singles before the 1975 by the 1975. But I think that my favorite thing about the 1975 by the 1975 is that the first track is the 1975. So when I first put this on my turntable, I will be listening to the 1975 from the album, the 1975 by the artist, the 1975. So I always think that's fun. But anyway, front, back, right? The box. It's a classic, and then you have this establishing shot of the boys and all of your track listing information here, kind of cleverly done in the margins. And then your copyrights and all that right in here. Now, this one also chooses to put its lyrics onto the insert, which is cool. They are very tiny. I will say even, you know, when I'm listening, because to be fair, right, Matty Healy, notorious for just incoherent British mumbling. So, you know, when I'll put this on, I'll put the sleeve on the desk and I'll read along, but it is tiny. But this one, just like the others, right? So this one's fun, translucent vinyl. So it kind of matches the vibe, right? It's a black and white album. You have this black and white vinyl. Again, another one of my favorites, for sure. I mean, I'll go through the tracks here. Go through the tracks here, right? So, of course, the 1975, The City, MLNEY, Chocolate. I mean, if your first 1975 song wasn't Chocolate, it was the next song on the album, which is Sex. Talk and Encounter, Hard Out also. I mean, it's just, again, right, another album, I think, of nearly unskippables. Settle Down, that was actually my first 1975 song. Robbers, Girls, I mean, for that right there, those four. Hard Out, Settle Down, Robbers, Girls, I could play that on repeat forever. Track 12, Call 12. She Way Out, Menswear, I once famously listened to on repeat on the way back from a wedding, where I had indulged a bit too much. Pressure, and then Is There Somebody Who Can Watch You? Which is another pretty sad one. Not to be outdone, of course, we move on to the 1975's second album, I Like It When You Sleep, for you are so beautiful, yet so unaware of it. Which is funny too. You can't see that. I mean, it's just really funny how much of the binder it takes up. So for this one, right, these were cool. I remember these were like Tumblr classics. All right, all these little, the neons and the different scenes with the track titles. And again, we have the credits at the bottom in the margins. And then this one, I believe, also translucent, but a little more plain on the inserts, right? So just the lyrics, nothing else. once again, just translucent. Although in this light it actually looks a little yellow, which may or may not be from years of smoking, but so it goes. Okay. So, another good one, right? So, starts with, as all 1975 albums do, right? We kick it off with the 1975. I just realized the track list is not on the back of this. Where is it? Oh, it's right here visually. Let's see, the 1975, Love Me, somebody else. Oh man, I cried so hard. I got broken up with. Like the fall after this came out, I cried so hard. It was awful. Over Skype. Loving Someone, the titular track, I Like It When You Sleep. For You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It, a good one. A Change of Heart, She's American, If I Believe You. The Sound, This Must Be My Dream, Paris, Please Be Naked, Lost My Head, The Ballad of Me and My Brain, Nana, and She Lays Down. Another good album. Really nicely done by our boys out there. All right, next up, right, different era again. It's kind of when I lived in Texas. A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships. And this one really interesting. So we did our track listing on the front. And I guess technically I would hold it like this, even though it opens that way. Super plain, right? Just nothing on it. And then the back, just stark white. The inside, you had this really fun, geometric kind of, I don't know, black. I actually used this motif in like some videos I was doing for work, so obviously it stuck with me. And of course you got this MFC motif. And I want to say this is a standard. Now, this is trippy. Really trippy inserts. But yeah, these are just standard black vinyls. Nothing too crazy about them. So for track list on this one, of course, we open with the 1975. Give Yourself a Try. It was a great lead single. I think it really did kind of set up the vibe for the album. Two time. Can't be more than one time. Something 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. Another, it's an earworm for sure. How to Draw, Petrichor. Love It If We Made It. Still a great allegory. I think, when you think of American politics, which is funny because they're British, but when you think of American politics, that is certainly the song I think of. Be My Mistake. Sincerity is Scary. I Like America and America Likes Me. I think it's my top 3 on this album. Really appreciate kind of like the nihilistic approach it takes, and this idea that we're so consumed with consumption. You have The Man Who Married a Robot, which is just funny. Inside Your Mind. It's Not Living If It's Not With You, of course. It's just an absolute classic. Surrounded by Heads and Bodies. Dark. Mine, but not the Taylor Swift song. I Couldn't Be More in Love. And I Always Want to Die. Sometimes. I saw them 2000 and I guess it was May 2019 or May 2018. I just remember they closed their closed the set with that. It was people from 65 to 16 screaming, "I always want to die sometimes," which I thought was kind of poetic, I guess. Okay. And then, of course, the last, for now, I've got a new one coming next week, but the last for now in the 1975's discography is Notes on a Conditional Form, which they did in this fun, kind of recycled paper, which makes sense because if I recall, maybe it was on Brief Inquiry, but they had Greta Thunberg on one of them. I forget. I think it was on the other. But you know, kind of this sustainable vibe. I really like that. Very, very cardboard. It's fun. And this one, for the inside, right, we just do this giant text, right? There's not a whole lot of ink going on here. And then our inserts also, right, again, just kind of plain. And I don't remember, look, you know, this one also, right, translucent, really cool. I don't even think that they did a lyric insert for this. Oh, yeah, it was better too big for this one. Yeah, there's no, they did not do a lyric insert. A little different, but, you know. So for this one, right, you had 1975 People, The End, Music for Cars, which you can mash up with one of their old singles, HNSCC, for a really interesting sound. Frail State of Mind, Streaming, The Birthday Party, which is a good one, and on side B, Yeah, I Know, Then Because She Goes, Jesus Christ 2005, God Bless America, indubitably. Roadkill, Me and You Together song, I think, is a really solid choice on this album. I think there's something you should know. Side C, Nothing Revealed, Everything Denied. Tonight I Wish I Was Your Boy. Shiny Collarbone. If you're too shy, then let me know. I think they played this live, not as a single, but just like live before the album came out. I was like, oh, this is going to be one of the number ones for me on this album, and it was. Yeah, Playing on My Mind. And on side D, Having No Head. What should I say? Bagsy, Not In It. Don't Worry. And the saddest song on this album, in my opinion, which is Guys. Because you know when this came out, when did this come out? 2020, right? Yeah, so that came out right there, I think a month into the pandemic. And I was thinking, like, you know, the ending track of Guys really felt like it was going to be this. Like they were going to, you know, wrap up shop, which I'm glad they didn't. So now, oh boy. So now we've been through my complete discographies, but we still have some other singles. So the first one we have, which I think is kind of funny actually, I picked this up at Target, is this picture disc of Michael Jackson's Thriller, which, as they point out right on the disc, the world's biggest selling album of all time. So, you know, I think for what it's worth, I mean, this is kind of like a cash grab, capitalizing on the, again, like I was kind of talking, like, you know, the resurgence of vinyl as a collector's piece, and as something that maybe people of a younger generation are doing. The reason I say it's kind of a cash grab is because, you know, it's just in this plastic sleeve. They barely tried. But of course, you know, this is truly, you've heard all of these songs. Wanna Be Starting Something, Baby Be Mine, The Girl Is Mine with Paul McCartney, Thriller, Beat It, Billie Jean, Human Nature, PYT, and The Lady in My Life. I mean, all of them, right? Even if you're of my generation or even younger, right? You've heard all of these. But I did, you know, again, right? I thought I got this after I got the Taylor Swift picture disc, and I thought, you know, they're kind of fun. Again, you know, they're collectible. It's, you know, it's fun. Okay, so next up, and this is quite old. This is, to be fair, right? So, also, the vinyl types will come and, you know, point out correctly that modern music that we listen to, so, you know, well, I say that we listen to, like, you know, the authority on musical choices. But, you know, modern albums, the 1975, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, Drake, you know, all these pop stars and rock and rap and like pop, everybody, right? Your top 40 types. It's, you know, the music is recorded digitally. So the people of an older generation will look down upon that and say, oh, well, you know, it's not analog, so it's really just an overly compressed, you know, analog copy. And like, again, right, technically it's true. But again, we're not buying it for that. We can already get the music online, right? We're not buying vinyls because it's supposed to sound like, you know, the best thing I've ever heard. There are tonal differences for sure. But again, anyway, I'm not going to go back down the road. But anyway, so this though is an original copy of Jesus Christ Superstar, the soundtrack. And I want to say, and you can see this one, right? I keep in a plastic sleeve because it is old. Gosh, nearly 50 years old, I want to say. Carefully take this out. Let's see if I can find the pressing. So this, right, would be an example of an analog record. I also have some manuals in here for a couple of things I have, but I don't know. Okay, there's the insert there. Does that come out? Okay, great. So oh wow. Okay, so this is actually more than 50 years old. So this is the insert it comes with, and that makes sense because this is an opera, right? It's a rock opera. This recording is from October 1970. So this recording is 52 years old, right? You know, this classic 70s artwork in it with like the melting crayon faces, I guess. Let's see if it'll tell me the exact day. Well, actually looks like some parts of it were 1969. So, right, obviously you can see why I keep that, you know, inside the plastic sleeve, because this is quite old. And so, of course, this, again, right, like I said, right, it's more about the collectivity of it. You know, there's a limited nature. I mean, most well taken care of vinyls, you know, probably only good for maybe 100 listens. So, you know, there's also kind of this fun, like, time aspect to it, right? This idea that, you know, it is a limited use. You can, you know, unless you melt it or something, like, you'll have the record forever, but eventually the sound quality is going to be degraded, for sure. Next up, of course, any vinyl guy, right, has a copy of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. This is a repress. This is not original. And in fact, it's actually coming apart a little bit. So the insert's cool. You know, got your lyrics and your track listing. But other than that, that's just a really generic. If you didn't know the track listing to Dark Side of the Moon, it is Speak to Me, Breathe, On the Run, Time, The Great Gig in the Sky, which is a great one of my favorites on this album, Money, Us and Them, Any Color You Like, Brain Damage, and Eclipse. Of course, David Gilmour. Same. Leonardo DiCaprio looks like a young David Gilmour. Anyway, so this is actually kind of a funny one. I think I bought this at an Urban Outfitters. This Parachutes Wide Awake, and it is a single LP. generic, just black. But it's funny because I only just noticed, like, we were listening maybe a month or two ago. I only just noticed that there was an insert with this. I thought there wasn't. But I mean, super generic, right? It's kind of got like a One Republic. That's a weird way to say it, but like a One Republic kind of font. So let's slide that back in there carefully. So track listing for this was Without You, What Side of Love, Jenny, Everything, Lonely with Me, Love Me Anyway. On side B, we had New Orleans, which was a banger. If you haven't heard New Orleans by Parachute, I would really encourage you to go listen to it. It is a lot of fun. The Helicopter's Back. When You Move, Getaway, Crave, What Breaks My Heart, and Waking Up. So I would say, if you've never heard this album, which you probably haven't, I would encourage you to give it a listen, but especially tracks 1, Without You, New Orleans, and Waking Up. I think those are 3 really nice, really satisfying tracks. That album. And then, so this one, actually no, we'll go chronologically. That is chronologically. Carly Rae Jepsen's Kiss is an album that you probably know, but maybe more peripherally than you think. First of all, killer artwork, right? Lots of fun on the back. Carly Rae Jepsen is a full, I want to say she is 10 years older than Taylor Swift. Still one of my favorite pop artists by far, but it's kind of funny when you think about that. So this one also goes for an insert, right? And so this, I actually just got this last week, and I don't know if it's a unique re-release as far as like the insert goes, but again, right, like a lot of fun. It's a very summer album. It's also really kind of funny if you, I hope it's not like too reflective, but it's funny looking at this page and it's very like red, white, and blue, like almost like, classic American patriotic summer. Carly Rae Jepsen is of course Canadian, so I think that's kind of funny, but this one is actually really fun. It is a stark white. Tragically though, just as a little oversight, the only place that they tell you which side is which is in the engraving, right in the center, so you cannot easily tell which side is which. But we did give this a listen last week, and it is, again, right, just a pop classic, in my opinion. Really just a lot of fun. It's like a lot of fun again. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Now, after Carly Rae Jepsen's Kiss, she had Emotion. And I do think, almost assuredly, that I also bought this at an Urban Outfitters. This one's a pretty generic vinyl, but the font is so fun. Almost like this synthwave kind of, like really aggressive 80s pop, right? Just black, this black insert with the pink, and then on the back we flip it for white and cyan. So if you did not know, of course, those are inverses of each other. And in fact, the colors that I prefer for my branding, my iceberg branding. So anyway, the tracks on this: Runaway with Me, Emotion, I Really Like You, which had a hilarious music video with Tom Hanks, where Tom Hanks is the woman, and there's a really funny cutscene where he looks at Carly Rae Jepsen and he goes, "Carly, I'm pregnant." It's goofy. Gotta Give Me Love, all that. Boy Problems, another good one. I think I just broke up with my boyfriend. Yeah, I mean, come on. Lyrical, pop lyrical genius. On side B, we have Making the Most of the Night, Your Type, Let's Get Lost, LA Hallucinations. I liked that one a lot. Warm Blood, and When I Needed You. I also love, this one has a really prominent FBI anti-piracy warning, which I think is kind of funny because it is really, it's not impossible, but it is pretty impractical to pirate records. Because you got, well, I guess in this day and age, of course, we would say, oh, what you just put it into an interface into your computer. I guess back in the 70s and 80s, you would put it into a tape recorder, like a cassette tape. Anyway, moving right along. So here's a one-off, and really interesting conceptually, if you think about, I guess, the kinds of music that are predisposed to being on vinyl, right? Because if you think of vinyl, you're probably, the first thing that probably comes to your mind is like classic rock, like Queen and Led Zeppelin and The Who, right? Like these really big, like 80s, 70s, 80s, even late 60s bands with, these big kind of hollow sound. So this is an electronic album. And I do remember the first time we put it on, it was like really distorted. The first time we played this, I was kind of distorted. But this is Gravity by Griffin, one of my favorite EDM artists. And in this one again, right, like this is what's so fun about vinyl is you get these just huge centerfold images that you can look at with your eyes. You don't have to turn on the computer to look at them. And then as far as the actual art, right, so no lyrical insert. For this one, kind of makes sense because, it's EDM. So lyrics are not necessarily the main goal. But the track listing on this, he does an intro, All You Need to Know with Slander and Callie Lehman, Need Your Love with Seven Lions and Noah Khan, Tie Me Down with Ellie Duhe, Nothing Like You with Drolo featuring Hannah, Remember with Zohara, Body Back featuring Maya, right? Bye Bye with Ivy Adara, or Adara, If I Left the World featuring Marina and Model Child. I don't know about that. Out of My Mind with Zohara again, Baggage with Gorgon City, which kind of sounds like Gorgonzola, and Olin George. Heard that. Just for a Moment featuring Isolin, OMG with, you guessed it, Carly Rae Jepsen. You Remind Me featuring Sinaj, Hurt People with Ala Black, and Nobody Compares to You with Katie Perlman. Now I better accelerate this before the dog gets upset. Another great electronic album. This is The Midnight Monsters. And this is special. But anyway, I love The Midnight. They got this fun synthwave and vinyl, synthwave and electronica 80s night drive. If you've heard of synthwave, you probably know The Midnight. Yeah, so you have like kind of this like Pizza Palace, Toy Story vibe in the middle. And then this one, track listing is 1991, America Online, Dance with Somebody, 17. Get this fun purple splatter off. I did want to show you that. It's really cool. Then Dream Away, Search for Echo, Prom Night, which is a great album, or great track. Fire in the Sky. Get back in there. Right. Monsters, a digital track. Helvetica, Brooklyn, Deep Blue, Night Skies, City Dreams, and Last Train. Now it's interesting, they have this track on here called Brooklyn. On their newest album, which just came out a couple weeks ago, they have a song called Brooklyn Friday Love, which is one of the best on that album. And of course, to finish it off, Olivia Rodrigo in Sour. Absolute, smash hit. Good for her. I mean, gosh, came out of nowhere. If you were my age and didn't watch the Disney Channel, she did come out of nowhere. So, again, right, this one's nothing special. It's just a plain black vinyl, but the sleeve's fun. She's got her little, handwritten lyrics on this one, which is cool. I do appreciate that even though this is a 1 LP, they still did a gauge piano fold. Because they wouldn't have to, obviously, but and of course, reading you the track list is probably not relevant, but Brutal, Traitor, Driver's License, 1 Step Forward, 3 Steps Back, Deja Vu, Good for You, Enough for You, Happier, Jealousy, Jealousy, Favorite Crime, and Hope You're Okay. So anyway, that's all I've got. I do have, coming in this month, I have the 1975's new album. The name of which escapes me right now. It's blue. I don't know. Feeling funny in a foreign language, or being funny in a foreign language. So that'll be a cool one. And then Taylor Swift's Midnights, of course. So looking forward to both of those, and I'll be sure to share those with you as they arrive. So I know this was a long one, but I thank you for coming along with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I do love to talk about music and talk about vinyl and just explore the artistry of the physical realm, because we look at computers all day long. So anyway, I hope you have a good night, and we'll see you in the next one.